Hello, this is Sophie Lawson from sophielawson.com, and this is episode 188 of the Sophie Art Podcast, which is a little podcast that I do about the art and things. And this one is another Dump and Doodle. I'm calling this one a Dump and Doodle Poo. So we've had Dump and Doodle 2, Dump and Doodle Do. Now we've got Dump and Doodle Poo. I don't know what the next one will be, but I thought what I'd do on this one is I'm just going to do some little drawings really. I'm actually going to do proper little, not proper drawings, but little sketchy doodles, but sort of try to create little characters or something. What I'm going to do is just create little random shapes and try to turn the shapes into characters. But I'll be talking as I'm going, and so lilDENNiS is with us. lilDENNiS, he's cool, he is. He's come to life, and he is with Kitty as well. They're both here. And so what happens is, if you're watching on YouTube at youtube.com/SophieLawson, you'll be able to watch the podcast as a video. But if you're listening on the audio, hopefully it'll be quite nice as well. We've also got little Teddy here as well, little artist friend. So we've got a little mascot, little Teddy. He's cool, but I've got to put his what do you call it? I want to put a thing on him. I ain't done that yet. A little paintbrush. He's naked as well. But let's get into this one. Doing. So lilDENNiS lets us in. It's quite exciting for this. What I like about doing stuff like this is you don't know what you're going to be drawing. But well, before we get into this, what I've got here, I've got in my sketchbook. I've been doing random things. Look, DNA. I've been drawing. What I noticed is, so I've got this thing where I got this grid given to me during a lucid dream / out of body experience, and it's also came back to me during the psychedelic. What I've been thinking is, what is this? There's a little circle in the middle of like a cross. But I've thought to myself, if you put loads of these circles together, you can actually create like the DNA, which is also what the psychedelic says was DNA is time slowed down. So for me, time is going forward and backwards at the same time. This is how things in the future can affect the past. So what I'm thinking is this little circle is actually representing the flow of two timelines via the DNA, which is cool. But so I did some little sketches the other day, and I've been thinking to myself, drawing biscuits, cakes, ice cream, good or bad, and I'll come to the conclusion that they're both. And I thought everything is both. Everything is both. Basically, things like biscuits are good and bad. They're good if you have one now and again, because you can get excited by it. They're bad if you eat them all the time. Cakes, ice cream, I said everything's like that. Also, what I've noticed is video games and stuff, it's all the same. Even watching, say, something like Stranger Things on Netflix. If you spend all your time watching Netflix, I would say that might be getting into the bad, but then I don't know. Because I'm still trying to work out if I was just to sit and watch Netflix all day and I was completely happy, is there anything wrong with that really? I'm not sure. But I think like the secret to life is creating. So when you're like watching Netflix, you're not creating anything. But what I've noticed is watching Netflix like that, it might inspire you to create something. So, but I've also put Peter wants to play. Little Peter the Penguin, he wants to come out. Bring him to life. He's waiting for you. So like I've got to thought to myself, I've got to draw little Peter. Inside of me, I've got this little character, Peter the Penguin. I desperately want to get him out, but at the same time, I've lost a bit of desire to do me drawing, which is a bit weird. And I've put here that don't be negative, you have a choice. That's the thing, you have a choice about being negative. Because I said on the last couple podcasts, I've been in a bit of a negative, my mind's been saying lots of negative things, and I've been sort of latching onto that. But what I'm realising is you have a choice. You don't have to be negative. Just because your thoughts are saying it, you don't have to. But it's easier said than done, isn't it? That's what I thought. I've also put here that the joy people, little characters of joy. How cool would that be? Little people, like they're full of joy. Cheesecake, I want it. Is it okay? Please help me. Because the thing is, I got this cheesecake in the freezer. It's one from Iceland. It's a millionaire chocolate toffee limited edition thing. I've had it before. It's lovely. It's been in the freezer for about 2 months now. And what happened is, I'm on day 17, I think, of not eating rubbish food. So I haven't had any biscuits, cakes, ice cream, or anything like that at all for 17 days. The thing is though, I really want to eat this cheesecake. So I think what I'm going to do is Christmas, because there's a week during Christmas I let myself eat sweets and stuff. I've actually just bought 2 tubs of chocolates for Christmas. And the thing with me is I can actually leave those on my desk and not eat them. I've got quite good discipline with that. But my mum hasn't. If I put those in the front room and said to mum, right, we're not allowed to eat these until Christmas, probably in a week's time they'll be gone. That's what happens, you see. So I have to keep them in my room. But she even says that. She says, keep them in your room. It's quite funny, that. But so I thought to myself, this cheesecake could be like Christmas. Christmas Day, I could eat that cheesecake. So I'm quite excited for that. But let's do some little things here. What I'm going to do, this is only going to be a little podcast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a random shape. And then I'm just going to try and turn it into a little character. So what I see here, so what I've done is I just did some squigglies. I see like a little bird or something. Oh, I ruined it. That's the thing with drawing, isn't it? Sometimes, see, that's the thing. When you when you don't think about what you're doing, you can create some really nice shapes. As soon as you start trying to sort of do things, you can make it worse. Almost as if like there's something inside of you that knows better than you do. So that for me, that's like some sort of little thing. Quite like that. So, what I wanted to talk about here, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some random shapes. One of these looks like a rotten apple. Another one looks like a vase. What I'm going to do, that was a boring one. What I'm going to do is create these shapes and then talk about art and try to turn these into characters. Because what I'm thinking is, oh, this is an evil one. It's quite cool. What I've been thinking is, this is what I've been actually thinking. And I don't know what the answer to this is. But with drawing, well, I know something, I think too much. The thing is, drawing is one of my favourite things ever, and yet for some reason I don't do enough of it. I don't know why that is. It's very strange. I had on my, where is it? Up here, on my board. Oh, I got a whiteboard over here and it says, I am happiest when I draw, so draw today. So I am. When I do some drawing, I'm always happy. But I don't know why. Well, what I'm starting to think is, what is drawing to me? Is drawing to me just a thing for me to express myself, and that's it? Nothing more? Or is it actually something that I need to take seriously? In other words, what I'm thinking is art a career or a hobby? I suppose that's what I'm thinking. It's very strange, when you do random shapes, you sort of, I don't know, you sort of, you get like, you sort of see lines and curves at the same time. That's what I've got quite a cool little character here. Looks like some sort of little he reminds me of something he does. Like I could imagine throwing sweets at this one and he'd catch them with his mouth. I think his mouth like a crocodile. Big. This one here looks like a hat. Yeah, I've got one here that looks like a little hat, or maybe like a little ribbon. people are funny. Hey look, watch this. I'm going to draw a house. I said about this before. Isn't it weird how different people, their houses always look the same? But I've always said I feel like my houses look a bit sad. So I've got a square house. What else could you have? Little Peter's house. Peter the penguin, he'd have a little, what do you call it? Igloo, I think. Yeah, little Peter in here. Little Peter the penguin. I like Peter. I'm going to draw Peter. I like drawing Peter. That's the thing. I enjoy drawing Peter. My little Peter the penguin. So that's the thing. Well, the dream, but I don't know if it is the dream. I said the dream would be to spend your whole day drawing little Peter the penguin and let's say getting paid for it. But would that really be a dream? Because what sometimes happens is, if you start doing something for money, it changes the way, it changes your relationship with it. And all of a sudden, you're now in a situation where you've got to draw Peter, like you've got to draw your little character to make some money. Whereas before, you're drawing, I'm not drawing Peter very well today. But if you're drawing a character for fun, for no reason but for fun, then you're going to have a character full of fun. But if you're drawing a character and you're thinking, oh, I've got to draw this one because I need to get him done for a book or something, it's going to be different. There's going to be a different sort of vibe to him. I'm going to make a fat one. Peter with a big fat Peter. He's had too many sweets at Christmas. Right, the poppy is. So that's the thing really. That's what I'm thinking at the moment is. Also, the other thing is, with art, I've noticed, and it's the same with video games. I go through like, it's almost as if during the course of a year, there's say 6 months where I'm really into art and drawing. There's like, I would say 3 months where I'm really lots of desire to play video games. So if I haven't got any video games, what will happen is I'll get this real desire, and it always happens around November on the run up to Christmas. So I'm wondering whether what's happened is, as a child, Christmas was always about video games. So what's happened now is, when it gets to Christmas, I just sort of think, oh, it's video game time. And maybe the other thing is, around January time, I get really into art. And maybe that's because in 2013, it was around the end of 2013 to 2014 that I started getting into drawing. It might be that. So what I'm thinking is, do I just embrace? Looks like a brain. Hey, that's a bit weird. I'll tell you what brains look like. Brains with all these little like things. Looks a bit like electric bolts. A bit like sort of electricity. That's interesting, huh? Have you noticed something? If you shut your eyes and very quickly go, what you do is you shut your eyes and then with your eyes shut, move your eyes left and right very quickly. It's better to do it at night time when it's all dark. What will happen is you'll see these little squiggles of white light in the corners of your eyes. It looks like lightning bolts. They're very little. But what I'm thinking, what I thought was, what are they? It obviously means inside of us is some sort of, well, it must be electric, some sort of energy. There's something inside of us that can create lights. How weird is that? And it also goes into like dreaming. When we go to sleep at night and we're dreaming, what's actually creating those visuals? It's almost like we've got some sort of computer inside of us that can create visual images. It's all very strange. That's the thing, we don't really know anything about what's going on inside of us, and I don't think we're ever going to find that one out. Unless we can talk to the creator, we're never really going to know, because you can't, I don't feel like you can reverse engineer a brain. Maybe you can. Or maybe what will happen is they'll end up creating a brain, and then what they'll think is, right, but this is how we create the brain, this must be how an actual human's brain works. Something like that. So maybe they'll, or maybe they have done that and that's how they create computers. Maybe somebody actually took a human apart and somehow reverse engineered the brain and then used that sort of information to create a computer. Maybe that's how we got computers. I love the sound of pens. That's one of the best things about traditional, I think, is the sounds as you're drawing. I've been having a lot of dreams lately. Lucid dreams. Oh, I was watching this video the other day. It was from the Divine Truth. Divine Truth. I'll try to put a link in the description. He was talking about earthbound spirits. And what they said was, what was it I was going to say then? Earthbound spirits. Oh, I can't remember. How weird's that? I was going to say something then. It's good anyway. They were talking about these earthbound. Basically, what it is when he was talking about. What he was talking about made sense. What to me it sounded like he was talking about dreaming. When we go to sleep at night, we go into the dream state. Most of the time we don't even realise we're dreaming. It's only when we wake up we realise we were dreaming. Well, what he's saying is, a lot of people when they die, what happens is they die, they don't even realise they've died, and what happens is they become these earthbound spirits, which is people, they're spirits which haven't gone into the spirit realm, but they're dead. So they're still attached to the earth. And I feel like these are the things that are actually putting negative and positive thoughts into our heads. So what I've noticed is the thoughts in our heads, especially my head, they're not my thoughts. Not all of them, some of them are. And I can tell when they're not my thoughts. So I'm starting to think, is it actually possible spirits are putting thoughts into our heads? So if you've got a negative spirit, it could actually put negative thoughts in which would lead you into the negative, because what it wants is it's trying to make everyone negative so that it sort of fits in. Because if everyone on the earth became positive, any negative earthbound spirits, they can't fit in. So what you've got is you've got two sort of competing energies, positive and negative, and the earth's sort of stuck in the middle. And then you've got the human is stuck in the middle as well. So the earth and the human are very similar. It's like the earth is happening to the earth on a grand scale, but it's happening to each human on the earth is going through the same thing. It's quite weird. So what was he talking about? He said something. What was he said? Yeah, what he said was when these people die, they don't even realise they've died. So then, but what happened? But that to me sounds a bit like purgatory. You're sort of in this place where you're not in what they would call heaven. So for me, that's actually purgatory. It's like I feel like it's actually like the earth. It's a layer on the earth that is a separate frequency. So we're not sort of tuned into it. But what can happen is you can tune into it if you sort of meditate and stuff like that. Oh, I did have a cool dream the other night. I had this dream that I was talking to two people. There was three of us. We was at some sort of we had a tutor in front of us teaching us something. But what happened was us three started talking to each other because the teacher was going off topic. So what we started talking about was we started talking to each other about what happens when we go deep into the meditative state. So what I said was, when I go deep into the meditative state, I see like this, like gassy liquid in all different colours, like that. Somebody else said what they see is they see lots of dots coming in and out, popping in and out like that, different coloured dots like that. The other one said what they saw was fire. So when they went deep into meditative states, they saw fire. What I started thinking was, this gassy sort of watery thing that I see it does look a bit like fire. And then I started thinking, well, they're the same thing really. Water is sort of flowing like that, and then fire is sort of flowing like that as well. And then the other thing is popping in and out of existence. Fire pops in and out, so maybe it's all the same thing. But then I also thought, well, when I woke up from that, I thought, this is brilliant. I'm having a dream talking about what happens when I go deep into meditative states. So this is the other thing. I start thinking, when we're going to sleep at night, our brains are open and we've got information coming in which actually is going to affect us during the day. So if we're not aware of what's happening at night time, in a strange way we could be getting brainwashed at night time. This is why I think lucid dreaming is so important, because when you're lucid dreaming, you're aware of what's happening. You can wake up and remember what's been happening. So if you've got a negative thing trying to sabotage you in the dream state, if you're lucidly aware, you can actually wake up and realise what's happening, and then you can say, right, I'm not going to let that affect me while I'm awake. Whereas if you wasn't lucid, you wouldn't know what's going on. You'd have a very sort of negative day. And it's a bit like that thing where sometimes you wake up, they say you wake up on the wrong side of bed. Maybe what's happened is you've had a night with some negative spirits, which have been sort of implanting negative thoughts in your head. That's what I was thinking. So it's quite cool. lilDENNiS, he said it's time to finish this one though, because it's got to be a little one today. 22 minutes. That's one of my favourite numbers, that is. My favourite number is, well, my favourite number is becoming 9 now. I like number 3, 9, 2, 4, 0 and 8. They're my favourite numbers. I think if I had to put my numbers in sequence of all my favourite numbers, I think my favouriteest number, what would I say? I think my favouriteest number is, see, it's 9 now. It used to be 2. I think my next number would be well, yeah, what is it? I think 2. Yeah, I like 0. Actually, I'd move 0 up a bit, I think. 8. My least favourite is 6. But then I read this book the other day, and it said that 6 is not actually necessarily a negative number. I got to read a bit more about that. 7, 5. I've never liked those two numbers. Well, I'm starting to like 7 a lot more, because you've got the 7 sisters, 7 days of the week, apparently 7 planets. What have we got here? Number 1 as well, that's a good one. The oneness. I think my favourite numbers is 9. If I was to say right now, I'd say 9, 0, 3, 2, 8, 4, 1, 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Missing the number 7. I'd put 7 in there. My numbers is 903, 284, 1756. That's my favourite numbers. Number 9, I like number 9, but I like number 2 and 4. 44, Lewis Hamilton. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one. It's just a little one. I've drawn something here. It looks like I've drawn this all randomly. It looks like a little person lying in bed. That's another thing. One of my dreams, it was the same one where we were talking about this deep meditative state. Did you hear that? State. What they did was, this person created like a bed frame. In the dream, they created some sort of bed frame. I've drawn it in my dream diary, but I don't know why they did that. They created like some sort of, I don't know what that is about. It looks like it was like a box, but it was a bed frame. So I don't know what that is, but I've drawn some in here by random. It looks like a little person in bed. So I think that's, I hope you have a nice sleep tonight. I hope you enjoyed that one as well. What have we got here? I need an inspirational quote. Let's have a look at this label. It says, if this item was gifted after a huge earthquake hit Nepal, Oxfam supporters helped people like Bimala Blami earn a living and rebuild their lives. That's quite cool. That's not very inspirational. Well, it's inspirational, but you need a snappy one. Here we go. This week's inspirational quote. I am happiest when I draw, so draw today.